Welcome to the final week of training camp for the Miami Dolphins. We have got a joint practice on deck Thursday against the Jacksonville Jaguars, an exhibition game on Saturday. But right now, Dolphins In Depth, the podcast provided to you by the Miami Herald, we're going to break down some of the injuries and some of the things that were said after the Detroit Lions win. The Miami Dolphins were able to produce on Saturday. Isaiah Smalls is joining me.
Wait, hold on. Let's talk now. The Detroit Lions did not win on Saturday.
I said the win the Dolphins were able to produce against the Detroit
the wins. Okay. I was like,
I think I said it right. The win the Dolphins were able to produce and deliver against the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Second teamers versus second teamers.
It was a battle of the 2s and 3s, man. And in some cases, some 3s and 4s.
There are no such thing as 4s in the NFL.
Oh, to your knowledge.
All right, whatever. Okay. Let's get into the news first. De'Von Achane is nursing a calf injury. That's why he has not been at practice in recent days. And more than likely, the Dolphins are going to be shutting him down probably till the regular season. A calf injury is probably one of the trickiest injuries, not only because it impacts his speed, but based on my experience, 18 years of covering the league, and I'm not a trainer, neither am I a doctor. I did stay at a Holiday Inn. That's really a lie. I'm a Marriott guy. However, calf injuries usually lead to knee injuries, in my experience. Once a player has a calf, it's usually compensating for something else that's going on in the leg. That's the last thing Miami Dolphins should want, is something to happen to Achane that will derail his ability to be on the field. Achane's goal is to be a 1,000-yard rusher this season. I definitely think he has it in him. And I'm a little bit concerned about the backups. No shade intended, but you see 1.5 yards per carry. You know what time it is. Let's also get into some of the other
before we move off of Achane. It's interesting that you said knee, because in my experience, I watch a lot of basketball, right? In my experience, it always leads to Achilles. You know, like KD, Tyrese Halliburton,
yes,
even with like Dame Lillard in them, like it's always been calf.
It's always something. It's always calf.
For sure.
Calf is definitely a warning sign that you need to chill out. Dante Trader. Well, we don't know what exactly has been the issue, whether it's a hamstring or a calf. He played 5 snaps against the Lions. Is that Mike McDaniel said that was the strategy, that was the plan, to not have him overworked or overused. I'm smelling IR to begin the season. Smells like IR. It allows you to get an extra roster space. I'm just letting you know, so you can do what you want to do. You keep it. Here's a game plan. You keep them on the initial roster day one. Then you claim somebody. You get some of the claims. You got to put somebody on IR or release them. Think about it. I've been here long enough.
I'm not mad. We all know the roster flexibility that is they need that right now. So I feel you. Go ahead.
Roster configuration. You put somebody on IR, they forced to miss 4 games. I think you could do without Dante Trader for 4 games, just a guess. Yeah. Zach Sealer, we don't know exactly what the nature of his injury is. He is going to be back this week. We don't necessarily know at what point this week. Zach is a hard worker, so if Zach's able to practice, he generally will. Ethan Bonner. This one is not a goodie. Yeah. This one is not a goodie. We watched that hamstring tighten up on him in that Detroit Lions game. It's going to be weeks, and it's possible that Ethan Bonner might have to begin the season on the IR as well. Because if we're talking weeks, it depends on where he is. Yeah. But if we're talking weeks, you might be able to put him on IR and allow him to miss 4 games. Ethan was actually pushing, I think, Kendall Sheffield for the starting spot opposite Storm Duck. Yeah. So that's a huge disappointment right there for the Miami Dolphins. But in other news, Matthew Judon is visiting the Dolphins. And Isaiah, I'd love for you to explain to me why the Dolphins are hosting Matthew Judon on a free agent visit.
I think it can mean a couple of things, right? I think for one, they've put a lot of emphasis on this pass rusher unit, right? It is thought to be like the savior if you will, for the defense, right? Especially considering the level of unproven talent, at the outside cornerback positions, right? So they were thought to be like the guys, right? They were driving because the philosophy goes, if you have a great pass rush, your DBs, your corners don't have to be all of that. While I agree with the sentiment, I don't necessarily apply that to this group of players. I was having that conversation with one of my friends this morning. However, bringing in Matthew Judon would be a way to just bolster that already, that pass rush that looks very, very solid on paper. But I believe you and some of the other people, the way that they see this Matthew Judon thing is that they believe a trade may be in the works, right? Getting rid of a outside linebacker and bringing in a corner. I'm curious to see why you guys think.
Here's my thought process on the Matthew Judon situation.
Talk to me.
It doesn't make sense if you align what the Dolphins are trying to do, which is not lean on 30-year-olds anymore and go with younger players. Mike Hilton was probably the only exception to that rule. And that was a signing that was made after Cater Kohu went down for the season.
Yeah.
So now, does he fit what the Miami Dolphins want to do? Absolutely. Can he be a Zach Sealer-like DT edge player playing in a two-gap? Yes, he can. Can he also give you some outside edge work? Yes, he can. However, he's taken the roster spot of probably what I would argue is the deepest position on the team, where we already know that Cameron Good, Derek McClendon, Grayson Murphy, and Mo Kamara, I really don't really need to include him, but we know that you're going to make some tough decisions at that spot.
Yeah, of course.
And Quentin Bell, you would assume is safe. Now with Matthew Judon, maybe he's not. You some of those guys have to step up to the team. Matthew Judon does not really play special teams, so that also means you probably need more of the special teams guy. So what does this mean for Derek McClendon and Grayson Murphy? Are they now going to be cut and probably try to put on the practice squad? I'm sure the Dolphins would love that. I have gotten to the point within my life where I've covered this team for 18 years. All the players that were like, no, we can't cut him. We got to keep him. Someone's going to claim him. You'll get another shot at him. You will, because they'll be cut by another team and you can bring them on back. You're really not missing. There is no Zach Sealer leaving this roster. And you're going to say, damn, I wish the Browns or the Bears wouldn't have claimed him. Yeah. We had a good thing. I'm good. Derek McClendon, to me, probably the top guy that might get cut. And
that might get cut?
Yeah, might get cut. We're talking about 50 player, 50, 51, 52, 53. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Derek
He's
McClendon.
A phenomenal training camp, though. I mean, I hear you. I understand what you're saying. Just because when you got
to guys who have Mitchell Agude last year had a pretty good training camp. He's on the Bears. He got cut. Rookie, lot of potential, a lot of flashes. Chopped them off. Detroit's practice squad. So, I mean, I like Derek McClendon. He's on my 53-man roster, but I can tell you, I can't promise you they're gonna make wise decisions. I just can't. This is the Miami Dolphins we're talking about here. So what? How does Matthew Judon, in your opinion, fit into the scheme?
I like what you said a little bit about him kind of having that inside-outside role similar to a Zach Sealer, right? I mean, Matthew Judon, my biggest issue with Matthew Judon is that I think he's either turning 33 or he is 33 right now. And to me, that's just, I mean, when you got young guys out there that are in the early 20s that are making plays, right? And of course, I always lean for the guy that has been, in the role longer, taking NFL snaps, not practice squad snaps, NFL snaps. I'm always leaning towards that guy. However, I'm just curious as to why you make this move when you have holes at corner, when you have holes on the backup offensive line. And I don't
because those players aren't available right now. See, we're at the point
but then that gets to my bigger issue. If you knew Jaylen and Mike weren't gonna, you know what I'm saying, figure it out by 2025, and so you knew that you probably were gonna have to trade your best guy at the cornerback position, why are you not trying to get a replacement in free agency? Like that.
Hold on. Let's put a pin in that, because I know you got some things to get off your chest over that.
I know, my bad. I apologize.
I will say this. Last year they didn't have enough edges. The year before that, they had to sign 4 at the end of the season just to make it through the playoff game.
Yeah,
I'm not sure you could ever have enough edges.
That's fair.
Could I say the same thing about cornerback and offensive line depth? I could. However, there's going to be about 5 cornerbacks per 31 teams, maybe 4 offensive linemen per 31 teams available on August 26th at 4 p.m. That's when teams are forced to cut down their 50-man roster. Yeah. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, and Chris Greer has a history of this, I'm trying to trade for some of those players that I would like to claim. I give you a swap of a 6th and a 7th. I will give you a 7th, conditional 7th in 2027, just so that I can get that best left tackle or get that best young cornerback to avoid him going to the waiver wire. Now, with vested veterans, guys with more than 4 years of experience, like Matt Dickerson, once they get cut, and I do not advocate cutting Matt Dickerson.
Yeah, I don't advocate that.
I do not advocate cutting Matt Dickerson. Yeah. That's a keeper for me. However, I advise you, Dolphins don't always do the smart thing. So Matt Dickerson will, if cut, will have the opportunity to sign with the highest bidder. A lot of times these teams will say, we'd like to sign you for week 2. We don't necessarily want to sign you for week 1 because we have to guarantee your whole contract for the season. Because if you are on the roster on the Tuesday of the first week of the regular season and you have more than 4 years of playing experience, your entire contract becomes guaranteed. Sheesh. Teams would rather wait till week 2 to go week to week on players number 47 through 53. Mm-hmm. And they want to push them up the practice squad, pull them down the practice squad, bump them up. So Dolphins will get their shot at some veteran cornerbacks, some claim cornerbacks, some veteran offensive linemen, some claim offensive linemen. I think they're being a little bit patient. Now, where I can second guess their approach, and this is what, kind of got me in a little trouble earlier today, or maybe Mike a little salty, was the question was asked, why didn't you sign Xavier Howard, who is signing with the Indianapolis Colts, going to play for Lou Anarumo, who was his position coach, who's now the defensive coordinator with the Indianapolis Colts. Most people know I've talked to Xavier. Xavier turned out an offer from the Colts last year. Lou is turned out an offer from Cincinnati last year because he enjoyed being a father in his children's lives. Mm-hmm. He finally got the opportunity to be a present dad during football season and take his kids to school, pick them up, take them to gymnastics. And at midseason, he didn't want to give that up. He also didn't want to sign an injury waiver, saying teams aren't responsible for his foot injury. So he said, let me just continue to rehab and restart this process again in 2025. Now, did he want to play for the Dolphins again? Yes, he did. Sure. Because he still doesn't want to leave his kids. But does he want to restart his NFL career and show people he still got it? Absolutely. My argument was the Dolphins should have signed him a long time ago. However,
and people think that I believe that as well. I never said that they should sign Xavier Howard. I'm a firm believer of the Kendrick line. He got a weird case. Why is he around? And I'm just gonna say it.
Not a weird case. Why? What you trying to say? Listen, man.
I don't know what happened. I'm just saying.
You don't know what happened.
I'm just saying. I read the story. I saw that the
story always tell you the full story.
I don't know.
That's all I'm asking. All I'm saying.
That's why I've always deferred to you.
If you texted me from 2 phones, how I know one phone happens to be under your kid's when you get a package, when you get a plan, and you got a phone plan, and you got 2 phones under the plan, and you texting me from both phones.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, that I'm not touching.
Let's put that aside.
Let's put that aside. Let's put that aside. Okay.
Okay.
Let's put that aside. Xavier has forgotten more football than every cornerback on this roster knows.
That's exactly what I've said. That was my point.
So now, does Mike want to coach him again? Probably not. It certainly didn't seem so. It certainly did not seem so. And they're very specific and peculiar about curating the right locker room.
Yes.
Okay. Xavier has been a star. Can he accept being a role player once you've been a star? I don't know. We'll see if he's still a star in Indianapolis.
Okay, we'll see week 1, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see week 1. And I bet you 2 ain't forget. I bet you 2 ain't forget. Y'all must have forgot, but 2 ain't gonna forget. But the Dolphins decided not to do that. Now, Mike's explanation drew a chuckle from me. I must be upfront. I don't know if Mike saw the chuckle. We didn't have a Safi "What's So Funny" Omar moment. That's for insiders too who remembers. However, he was a little thorough with his answer, explaining why they're not going back to the OX. Mm-hmm. How did you take that answer?
I mean, the question. Well, I'm gonna just add a little more context. The question was, why not sign X? And then someone followed up with an even better question, saying, "What is there that you have seen from the cornerbacks that maybe we haven't seen?" That's the answer.
That's for the people who saw them get cooked in Detroit.
Yeah. So I think. I mean, look, basically what Mike is saying is like, we want, I have the direct quote because I thought this was actually kind of fire. He said he's looking for guys. He's not really looking for the nameplates, right? He's looking for guys that actually go out there and show him what they've done, right? And so look,
can't live on that. Can't live on old names. I thought that was a direct shot, man.
That was definitely a direct shot because obviously, between some members of the media, contingent of fans, they want you guys to go out there and sign a Asante Samuel Jr., a Stephen Gilmore, like one of these guys that have some pedigree to him, and he's essentially maintaining like, look, I'm not worried about pedigree. I'm just trying to evaluate the talent I see on the field. And my just biggest gripe with that is I think we've seen what the talent on the field is like. Yeah, and let's not act like you didn't draft Cordell Armstrong. Let him go because you weren't cool with the talent. And then now you brought him back. That's the point that kind of bothers me a little bit because I'm not saying that he's insulting our intelligence a little bit. By no means am I saying that. But
hold on, wait. You are saying that because it sounds to me like you're saying, I'm not sure why y'all so concerned about the offensive line. We think it's funny. It's not we like walk up to the line of that.
Yes.
We didn't cross it, but we walked up to it.
No, I feel that. No, 100%. Because, I mean, look, we even saw Jack Jones get cooked on day 1 of joint practices and then him not get as many opportunities on day 2.
He was tired. And a little crispy. He was a
little crispy. I think he was shaking off some of the burnt marks. I think that's the reason. Good Lord.
It was a little crispy. I mean, the Lions did create a minute-long highlight reel.
I put that in my story that a lot of them ended up on the wrong end of a highlight tape. But I say this to say, look, I think it's a very slippery slope because to the point that you and I have made continuously, the locker room is a very fragile ecosystem, and one person can kind of come in and kind of take the entire pool, right? And so from that perspective, I understand why they're being very cautious about bringing in guys. But again, as I said earlier, this is why you do not wait to the final minute to try to address these things. And don't get me wrong, I am impressed with the emphasis on the trenches. I hope that works out for the Dolphins.
It works out a lot better when you actually have cornerbacks that can cover. It does. It kind of benefits them a little bit. But do you really want Jalen Phillips to have a monster season and demand $100 million contract? Do you really want Chubb to blow up? You know,
they resurrect their careers.
Yeah,
having nobody on the back end, and now you're even in a worse position.
The argument that they're making is they're trying to make careers of young guys who haven't done anything, haven't proven anything. Now, I did not see the Detroit practice with my own eyes. So you are the only one who saw it. So what I can say is I've watched them practice against these Smurf wide receivers, and I said, it's okay. It'll do. Yeah. Now, does that mean that they can play every style? They cannot play every style. They are only a zone team.
They are.
Only a zone team.
They are.
Does that mean they got good nickel play? They don't have good nickel play. Does that mean they have a cornerback who can shadow anybody? They do not have a cornerback who can shadow anybody. So you're going to have to scheme the crap out of this cornerback unit. And let's be real about it. They're not very thin because Ethan Bonner with that hamstring injury, he was maybe your number 2, number 3. So now you're down Kader Kohu, Ethan Bonner, Artie Burns, and Jack Jones, who just got a little bit crispy, is safely going to make you 53. Not that I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And realistically, Jason Marshall Jr., people say they liked his film. I did not like his film. He doesn't make sense to me as a nickel. I'm sorry. He's too big. He's not as mobile. He's a little physical. I like on that
highlight tape, the one-hander that Amon-Ra caught. You can't really ask for better coverage on that play. It just was, this is
okay. That's great. That's great. I think he's a boundary. He's the biggest cornerback they have. He's clearly a press cornerback.
Yeah.
When you miss in the slot on a two-way go with a fast, little shifty receiver, it's over.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. There ain't no coming back from that.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want to do, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. I'm not Anthony Weaver. I'm not the defensive coordinator. But we'll see how it plays out. But if you ask anybody on this team who is objective and not biased, if they have enough cornerbacks on this team, I'm pretty sure the answer would be no. NFL caliber cornerback. Because I will make the argument to you. You cut Storm Duck, you cut Kendall Sheffield, you cut Jack Jones, you cut Cam Smith, you cut Ethan Bonner. How many of them are you certain are going to be claimed by another NFL team?
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have the answer to that question. I honestly like what I've seen from Storm. I think Storm might have one of those boundary positions locked down. I just think that I see Storm's career going better, at least initially, with him having a veteran presence on the opposite side. Just because at the end of the day, like, there's game to be soaked, right? Like, the game it's there to be soaked. And I just from what my interactions with him, and he flat out told me very honestly that he and the rest of the cornerback group were juiced for Saturday's game, just simply because of how the last, how Thursday and Wednesday went, right? So I appreciate the competitor in him. So I would say he has one of those spots like that. I firmly believe that they need another guy. What they're going to do, I have no clue, and I do not envy them. Because this is from this position, it's very easy to critique.
They have been very adamant that this is the route that they are going from jump to the draft, when they were like, yeah, we're not going to draft guys early. We're going to get them in day 3. Like, we're going to get them in free agency, the second and third batch of free agency. They believe that they will make a cornerback, and that's great. Unfortunately, you need 3. Not 1. You need 3. So are you planning to make 3 cornerbacks? We shall see how that plays out. Because the last time I checked, Storm Duck had 100 passer rating. Quarterbacks that threw at Storm Duck had 100 passer rating, which is not good.
Yes.
Not good at all. But we'll see. I'm not hating on anybody. I just know that unit is the blind leading the blind. And a veteran presence would have helped, but hey, more power to you. Maybe they add a veteran when the waiver wire comes. We'll see how that plays out.
I did see I forget who it was. I believe it was Kyle Krabs with A to Z Sports. He put together a nice little list of corners, and I like the list, except Adoree Jackson. Like, I don't think he's gonna solve anything if you bring Adoree Jackson here.
I believe he's a nickel, right? I'm trying. Anyway, but
even if they, because he might get cut. Just from what from what I've heard about from the Eagles practices, he's probably going to be the one that gets cut, and it's just I don't think I'm just surprised he's made this long.
Howie Roseman is known to punk us, so we never know. You never know. And actually, Adoree Jackson's a vested veteran, so he'd probably be out there as a free agent and be able to do his bidding. Yeah. We'll figure it out what we do.
That bridge when we come to it. For sure.
Yeah, that's the Chris Greer mantra mentality when it comes to cornerback. I know everybody's all obsessed about the cornerbacks. I'm more focused on the trenches and the offensive line. And you at least have 4 cornerbacks that can play in the NFL. I'm not sure you got 4 backups that can play in the NFL, especially if Liam Eichenberg doesn't begin the year healthy, especially if Andrew Meyer doesn't begin the year healthy. Fortunately, Mike McDaniel basically said he does not see Austin Jackson not being ready for the season opener. We still have a $5 bet that it's a foot. The fact that we haven't seen Austin for 3 weeks. Yeah, I believe I will have my value meal.
So might as well throw the $5 in the trash. You about to go to McDonald's with it. Good Lord.
I could be getting a KFC value meal. Don't be judging me.
That's even worse. Popeyes. Like, come on.
What can you get with $5 in today's economy? Not a damn thing.
Yeah, very little. Oh, yeah. Very little. You might be able to get like a bag of candy from Five Below or something.
You know what's funny? I was in Chicago, and I went to the gas station. And you remember the little pack of annihilators?
Yeah.
That used to be like 10 cents and then 25 cents.
Yeah.
They're $1.25 now. Yeah, man. I was like, God dog, little pack of annihilators, $1.25. You know, I used to get all the chains in your mom's car and go get annihilators.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, let's not talk about candy. De'Von Achane.
Yes.
Being sidelined. This is going to create a lot of opportunity. Now, the question I have is Jaylen Wright going to be able to seize this opportunity? And is this his last dance?
I don't know if it's his last dance, but I think the pressure is officially on him after Ollie's performance over the weekend. I mean, Jaylen Wright, essentially, it was his job. It's been his job to kind of lose, so to speak. But I don't even think he's kind of winning it, especially after Madison went down, right? It's like, all right, man, you're the guy right now. We want you to step up. You was popping big stuff on Up and Adams so that you can be a top back in the league. It's now your turn to show it. And unfortunately, we haven't seen that. Meanwhile, I don't want to speculate too much on this, but like Ollie has a specific energy about him, right? That you can kind of see guys kind of gravitate to. I've even heard from some of the I don't want to call them the PR staff, but like the communication staff, that like Ollie is just a has a magnanimous personality, right? And so just from that alone, you can see that. Unfortunately, you don't want to get in a situation where you're playing a guy because people like him, and that's not what I'm saying. I think it's because people like him and the talent you see is matching up with the production on the field, right? And
I don't care about the personality. I care about that 1.5 yards per carry average. I'm like,
I mean, I haven't finished going through the film yet, and so I'm taking my time later today to do that. But I just want to.
It's holes there. It's
exactly, and because when you see with Ollie though, it doesn't necessarily. It's kind of the same thing that we talked about with Alexander Madison. It didn't necessarily matter who was in front of him. He was kind of gonna find a hole and make something shake. And with Jaylen Wright primarily as the lead back in the first half against the Lions, they only had 5 yards rushing the ball. That won't cut it, right? Especially if you're thinking about wanting to get out of these too high safety looks to open up lanes for Waddle and Tyreek. So I think at the end of the day, if I have to make the decision right now, it's Ollie Gordon is my RB1B. Or however, what is he? But
this team don't change the depth chart.
Well, it should, because I don't think.
I
mean, it should. I mean, and look, for me, I'm going to be paying very close attention to what Ollie does over the next couple days, specifically in the joint practices, because it will be Jaylen Wright's time to really show something, right? Unfortunately, we haven't seen anything from him in that area, especially the day that it was kind of, he was a featured back against the Lions on the second day of joint practices, and it wasn't really. I mean, he had like one or two good runs, but it wasn't anything special. And so I'm just kind of, I to your point, I don't like the fact that they kind of give away starting positions. Like, okay, this is yours. But I honestly, if you have to get my honest assessment, I'm still not even after the Quinn Ewers game, I'm still not willing to give him QB2. But I'm certainly willing to give Ollie Gordon RB2 for sure.
Sure. That's part of my frustration. People don't have to earn things around here; they're giving it. But it is what it is. We'll figure that out. I'm very excited. I don't see the lamps Jaylen Wright should have in terms of the vision to find holes and get the yards. There's too much hesitation back there, and I don't want to come off like a hater, because that's what I'll be accused of being.
Yes,
like
that's very.
I evaluate
criticism. They be like, "Hey, you hate it."
Yeah, I evaluate football, and how often have I said that to you about Jaylen Wright? Like, I should see it, but I don't see it. And if everybody comes in with the same unit that you're in, and they make things pop, but you don't make things pop, maybe the problem is you. Like, this got to be some soul searching right now, because the thing about the NFL is you only get so many opportunities, and your draft status will get you only so many opportunities. Yeah, you were drafted in the 4th round. Ollie was drafted in the 5th round. Like, one round below you.
And if you really want to talk about pedigree, Ollie kind of got a little bit more, considering the Doak Campbell, not Doak Campbell. I always want to say
Doak Walker. Yeah,
the Doak Walker Award. Considering, I mean, that long history of Oklahoma State running backs, and that's one thing that that really pissed me off. I should have found Barry Sanders on Thursday and asked him what he thought about Ollie.
You saw him? Oh no,
he was there. But you know my Barry Sanders story, right?
Yeah, he was with your dad.
Yeah. So I should have, because I saw Lomas Brown out there, and Lomas recognized me from back in those days. Yeah.
How old were you when your dad worked there?
I mean, I was like 2. I was 2 at the time, but then I saw Lomas, like, maybe I went to a Lions camp maybe when I was 12, and Lomas was there, and so him and my dad like were cool. So when I saw him, I just reintroduced myself, and obviously he's from down here, so he's good.
So he see you grinding.
Yeah, he did. He
putting in that work. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, man, that's very. I never even thought about the Oklahoma State connections.
It's something that as soon as I landed, I was like, dang, if I would have saw Barry, I would have immediately asked him about that.
Yeah. And to your point, charisma don't impress me. I want to see yards. I don't I don't need to be liked. I don't need you to be liked. I want to see production. And as I've consistently said, and will say to my grave, if the Dolphins can run the ball and protect Tua, they'll get to 10 wins.
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence about them running the ball, especially without Achane. So I'm not jumping on the Ollie train, not yet. You're
on the Quinn Ewers train, but not the Ollie train.
Oh no, I'm not on I'm on the Quinn Ewers train, because I'm sorry, I can't deny what I see. You don't see them big boy throws. You don't see them.
The wrist flick
of the wrist
was crazy. It was very crazy.
The flick of the wrist. You don't see that.
The flick of the wrist was crazy. The flick of the wrist was very crazy.
Like, he flicked the wrist. He made big boy throws. Yeah. I can't deny that. Ollie has some nice plays in 2 preseason games, but I need to see more. And I need to see something from Jaylen Wright. Something. But I would say Jaylen had a better camp last year than he's had this year. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. The Dolphins again have practice tomorrow. We've got joint practice on Thursday. I believe it's open to the fans. And then we've got the home season finale, which will more than likely be a dry run for the starters, get them used to playing football and being hit a couple of times. But fortunately, we will be here at the Miami Herald covering it all for you.
And let's just keep praying that Travis Hunter is healthy for Thursday, because
he ain't practicing. Don't worry about it. He ain't practicing.
Don't do that. I need good energy.
Nah. Come on. What you practicing him for? What does he need to play this week for? You need him for regular season to sell tickets.
I don't care about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to see him.
You need him to sell tickets. That does not help you this week. Rest, young man, rest. Sorry. You're not going to see Tyreek Hill. You're not going to see Jaylen Water. You don't need to see him either.
That's fair.
Yeah. On that note, we are out, and we will see you tomorrow.
Peace.